Okay, so you've watched video 1 and this is video 2 and we are talking about the objective. Why are we starting here? Well, ultimately when you're deciding to release some music, what makes the whole process a lot more straightforward and ultimately a lot more successful is knowing what it is you're aiming for. I think for a lot of us, when we set about releasing our music, we don't really think about this step and we just literally put it out there, and we have all of these objectives that we're kind of sort of aiming at and kind of trying to achieve, and we just scattergun it. And we're like, I need 1,000 Instagram followers. I want to be big on YouTube. I need to be famous, and I must get on that Spotify editorial playlist. And I'd love to play Glastonbury, and so on and so on and so on. And the problem with this is, chances are, especially if you're watching this video, is that you're an independent artist or you're at least working with an independent record label, which basically means you have limited resources and you haven't got a huge marketing team behind you that can just hit everything. So, how do we define this objective? Well, I would suggest that as an artist who's looking to release music, the overall objective doesn't need to be that complicated. It can be pretty straightforward, and I would suggest something like growing my audience and fan base with my music. Now, some of you listening to this will immediately be thinking, well, hang on a minute. I mean, that's great, but there's about 1,000,001 ways of achieving that. How has that made things any more defined or simpler? And you'd be right. However, going into the next videos, we're going to be talking about branding, where we cover things like your story, your target audience, social media channels to look at, your sound, your look, and all of those things. And as we define those different elements, this overarching objective becomes more defined, more achievable. The advantage of all of this together is that as an independent artist or an artist on an independent label, you are able to maximize your resources in a very particular area, and this is particularly important at the early stages of your career. As you become established and maybe even famous, that's when the opportunity to spread and be a bit more like all over the place and less sort of defined is more achievable because you've already established yourself as an artist. Okay, so objective defined. Let's get on to the next video and start discussing branding.